Hello, everybody. This is Don Markland with Accountability Now, and welcome to the Morning Jolt, where we give you small tidbits of information, inspiration, and data to make better decisions today. It's a tactical podcast about making today better today. I have always been a lover of literature, and I grew up in a home that prioritized reading. I also grew up in a theater, and so there's probably an uncanny, like a natural love of mine of Shakespeare. I've always been amazed that this one person could articulate human emotion so well 450 years ago that is still relevant and applicable today. And one of his plays that are by far one of my favorites is the play of Henry V. And if you're not familiar with what Henry V is about, it in a real simplistic form, Henry V is the story of this young king, King Henry, who has this Herculean task to unite a torn kingdom together. He has to unite them together as they battle against their sworn enemies of the French. And it's from this play that we get the immortal lines that Henry says to his tired and frustrated army before the St. Crispin's Day battle. He says, "We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, for he who sheds his blood with me this day shall be my brother." And I love that. That's been quoted many times. It's where the movie series or the TV series Band of Brothers comes from. And I don't believe those lines have anything to do with gender or gender relations. They rather demonstrate that there is a blood-like connection between people unified towards a common cause. And even Merriam-Webster, the dictionary, has a definition for this. It's called family. And when you look up the word family in that dictionary, one of the definitions is a group of people united by certain convictions. And I think what Shakespeare was teaching here was that a group of people united towards a common cause is the most powerful force on earth. And I think if you consider that, that's pretty remarkable, especially for small businesses, teams. When we can be united, it is remarkable what happens. And since the earliest of civilizations on earth, we have done an amazing job at dividing ourselves, right? We divide ourselves into classes, different groups, right? There's the have-nots, rich, poor, bond-free, male, female. When I was a kid, there were the jocks, the cheerleaders, the stoners, the theater nerds. That was me, right? Everybody was different. There's the first picked, last picked. You can guess which group I was in. And I get it. There's probably some really great benefits for those small segmented classes because it allows us to have smaller groups where we can organize and have common convictions and create these sub-families. But I think sometimes in the grand perspective or the overall perspective, we lose, I think, a grander view of where we need to focus, or we lose on a larger scale and stop being one. And I think social media has impacted that and hurt us in many ways. Let me give you one little piece of advice about that term, perspective. One of my favorite books is the book To Kill a Mockingbird. And in there, Atticus Finch says, you never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb inside of his skin and walk around in it. I love how he said that. You need to consider perspective. And if you're struggling to have unity, if you're struggling to be connected to somebody, I think one of the pieces of advice I'd give is stop and consider things from their perspective. In recent years, and for sure in recent months, social media has probably made this so much worse. So many times we engage in what we think are healthy debates or healthy conversations on social media, but all it does is create division and argument. And I'm going to give you just 8 little tips here on social media. And this is for employees, individuals, friends. If you're going to post something on social media, follow these 8 things. I call this, is it a big deal? IISBBGDL. Is it a big deal? Just run it together, that alliteration. Okay, just is it a big deal? I, the first I is it good? Is what I'm posting, liking, or sharing, is it good? That's the I. Second I, is it true? Is what I'm going to post or share, is it true? The next S is, do I want to share this? Do I want to share this? The next one is a B. Does it benefit me or does it benefit someone else? Now the next B is, will it leave someone else better when I like or post or share or comment on this? Now the next one is a G. What do I personally gain from like, posting, or sharing this? That's the G. What do I gain? It's that word G, gain. Now the next two is a D and an L. The D is, what will people decide about me if all they saw was this post? If all they could ever see the rest of my life was this one post or like or share, what are they going to decide about me? Now, if you can get through those 7 and you're still decided, I'm sharing this, there's no matter what, I'm still going to post this or share this or like this or make this comment, then we get to the L. How can I phrase this in a loving manner? And I want you to really think about social media like toothpaste. And you're probably thinking, what does that mean, like toothpaste? Well, let me share with you a little story. See, when I was in college, I was so poor. I mean, I was dirt poor. You know, there's that phrase, you have 2 nickels to rub together. My bank account was in the negatives for months at a time. And if you want to feel real financial stress, be in the negatives for months at a time. That's panic. That's real panic in your life. And when you are in financial disarray like that, you start to purchase things on the cheap, and especially non-renewable resources. You have to buy them really, really cheap. And one of mine was toothpaste. I went to the off clearance aisle brand of toothpaste. And this toothpaste was so rotten, repugnant menthol flavor. I had a hard time brushing, and I struggled to wonder even if it got my teeth clean, but it's all I could afford. And one morning I was brushing my teeth, and I knocked the toothpaste off of the counter onto the ground. And as I stepped back to see where it had landed, my foot stepped like square right on the tube, and it shot rotten, repugnant menthol toothpaste everywhere. And if you think the taste was bad, I want you to imagine the smell. A rotten, repugnant menthol smell all over the bathroom floor. Now, when you're broke and your bank account's in the negative, you're not thinking about the smell, you're thinking about toothpaste. And so I did the only thing I could think to do, the only thing that I could think in my innovative brain. I tried to put the toothpaste back in the tube. I started to grab clumps of it with my hands. I started to jam it right back in the tube as much as possible. And guess what I learned? You can't put toothpaste back in the tube. It doesn't work. And now I had created a much bigger mess. And not only did my whole bathroom smell like rotten, repugnant menthol, my hands did, my clothes did. It was awful. That is social media. And so if you're going to put it out there, whatever it is, make sure it's good. Make sure it's true. Make sure you want to share it. Make sure it benefits. Make sure it leaves others better. Make sure you don't just personally gain from it. And make sure if people decide something about your post, it's something positive and that you post it in a loving manner. Because the last thing you want to do is post something rotten, repugnant, menthol flavor. If you want more content, first of all, like and review this podcast. We are on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all major podcasting networks. That goes a long way for what we're trying to do here. You can follow me on Forbes. I just had a new article come out. You can go to my website, accountabilitynow.net, and get your own personal accountability course, $7 a month. Anybody can do that. Sign up and start to push yourself to be better, $7 a month, accountabilitynow.net. You can follow me online on Twitter at Don Markland or on Instagram, executivecoach.don. Just crossed 30,000 followers. Thank you. Follow me there. Or my company, the greatest digital marketing agency in the world, 411 Locals. And as always, this is your Morning Jolt.